Welcome to another virtual adult improv show with the LA Connection players. I'm Ken Scove, the founder and owner of the LA Connection. As you can see, we're in a courtroom. I'm going to tell you what that's all about in just a few moments. This particular team is a 5 p.m. Sunday team, so if you want to follow this team, you can go to our YouTube channel, LAC Comedy on YouTube. Click on the playlist, click on 5 p.m. Sunday, and you'll be able to go back and see all their shows going back about a year. And they've been going for almost 3 years now, some of these guys. So if you want to see more, just go to the main menu and go click on all the 5 p.m.s. They've been doing short and long form shows. Let's introduce the cast who's been doing all that, starting with Brian.
Hey everyone, thanks for being here. Excited you're here.
Andrew.
Hey everyone, we're going to have a great show for you.
Eli, it's his first show with us.
Hello, excited. Hello, invisible audience.
Easton.
Hello, everyone. Happy to not see you, but maybe someday I will.
Maddie.
Hi, thanks for watching.
Rashida, who's working in from our Tuesday 6 p.m. cast.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to our show.
Alex.
Hi, guys. Thanks for watching.
James.
Hey, welcome to the show.
My longest running 5 p.m. member, Andrea.
This is Andrea. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Amelia doing her second show with us.
Super excited. Thank you guys for watching.
I'm going to have everybody go get into characters. You can see they have names next to them with what their position is. They're handled. We have lawyers for the plaintiff, for the defendant. We have our witnesses. We have my own personal witness. And we also have, of course, a field reporter who will be covering this entire case. I'm Judge Kent. I'll be presiding over this particular case tonight. And if you want, you can even put my handle up there. It says judge, put judge up there with I have my court reporter here in the room with me. So we look very official, Judge Scove, before everybody comes into the room. And now let's have everybody file into the courtroom, and I will be able to go over the case today with everybody. Okay. And we just have the other defense lawyer. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so everybody's in the room, so I really appreciate you guys coming in. As you know, we're doing this over Zoom, so we don't have to all be in the same place. Wish I could bring you into my courtroom. I'm, of course, in my courtroom today, but I know you guys are all going to be doing this on Zoom. So we'll do the best. I have breakout rooms so that you can work with your clients and your witnesses, and they're secure rooms, so only ones can hear them is you, of course. And I'll be having you do that after I identify what the case the plaintiff is suing the defendant for. Okay. All right. So the plaintiff is suing Easton, the defendant, but Easton is countersuing him as well. What happened is Eli is the older brother of Easton, and Easton would not leave the house. So he decided to try and kick her out, and she's resisting being kicked out. And so he's suing her to get her to leave. Easton is the younger sister of Eli, whose mother both their mothers have passed away in the last year. They've both been living in the house. Eli, of course, is the one who's looking over the will. He's the executor. So he's decided that he wants to sue his sister and get her out of the house, but they both have title to the house equally. So she is going to countersue because she doesn't want to leave. Okay? Now, the reason that Eli has said in the papers that I have here is that he wants to move in his fiancée, who they've been going out for a couple years, and now they're getting ready to get married. So he wants to move her into the house with the two kids, the 9-year-old boy and 7-year-old girl. And it's only a 3-bedroom place, so that was his justification to try and sue his sister to leave the house, which she refuses to do, so he can move in his future wife. I don't know all the other reasons. I guess we'll find out if there's other things going on as to why this is happening, other than the notes that the lawyers have given me, which I appreciate. So is there any questions anybody has before I send you into your breakout rooms? Okay. And I know that Rashida is one of the plaintiff witness, just so everybody knows that, even though she doesn't have that next to her name. You can see everybody else has got their handle next to their name, so you know who they are. If there's no further questions, I'm going to let Alex, who I'd like to introduce as a reporter for the local TV station here, will be covering this entire case the whole time. I'm going to let her interview you guys as the case develops and goes on. But right now, I'm going to let you guys all go into your breakout rooms, and I'm going to have Alex. You'll be able to take over once I leave. You can report to your local station. I'll be catching up with you later. Anytime you want to do your report, Alex, I'm gone now.
There's a dark cloud here in Sunnyside, California. A dark cloud in the form of sibling rivalry. It's been a year now that famed baker Fanny Schmitzhoffen, owner of Hoffen Nuts Donuts, passed away under mysterious circumstances. And now children Easton and Eli Schmitzhoffen, whom have been left their home while Hoffen Nuts has in fact been sold off to a third party. But as the year goes on, it seems that they are no longer living together peacefully. In fact, Eli Schmitzhoffen has sued Sister Easton to get her out of the house so that he can move in, fiance and 2 children, perhaps. Things are mysterious, just like death. So it seems this could be a case more than just sibling rivalry, but in fact, more than meets the eye.
Plaintiff, please meet with your lawyer in the breakout room.
Hi, Brian.
Eli, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. Thank you, Brian. How are you?
Good. I think we're gonna really take care of this today. I've read through the notes and everything, and I just wanted to meet with you here before we enter the courtroom, just to sort of clear up the air on a few things and stuff of that nature. Sort of standard procedure stuff. So tell me. So you are obviously the executor of the will, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. So now in the will, was it explicitly stated where the house is going, how these things are divvied up, any of that nature? Was that already decided, or is that being decided actively in the moment?
Well, our wonderful mother was always very diplomatic, so she gave us the decision to split the house. And since we were grieving at the time, we decided to take it 50-50. We thought that was the best idea. So it wasn't laid out in the will specifically. It was given flexibility for us.
Okay. That we can work with. We can kind of work with that. So tell me, what's your sort of intentions behind the kicking her out of the house? If you're splitting the house 50-50, what's changed?
Well, one thing is moving in my lovely Linda into the house and our beautiful children.
Okay.
We have Ronald, named after my great-grandfather, and we have Julie, named after my great-grandmother. But the other thing is that I really think Easton needs a little bit of tough love. You see, I've got some things here, some things that really concern me about Easton. This was in her room. I think what she needs is some time. She needs to be put out of the house and some tough love so she can get out of the hole she's put herself in. I really am worried about her.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That kind of makes sense. Did you ever consider, potentially doing a house expansion or subletting a certain part of the house, or is that stuff all out? You don't want any of that happening. You're straight on. She goes out of the house.
Well, I really think she needs to get out of the house. Now, we could expand the house if we had access to that wonderful money we got from the sale of our dear mother's companies and assets and licensing. I don't know where it is, and I don't know how to get to it. Last I saw was father had something to do with it, and he and Easton had a meeting, and I don't know what happened in that meeting. And now I can't find that money, so we can't expand the house. I can't, and she doesn't seem to want to.
So let me get this straight. Easton and your father are currently holding funds that came from your mother's bakery, part of which would obviously belong to you. Now, do you think they are doing this intentionally because of the house, right? If their minds, they're thinking, well, Eli wants to take the house. Now, essentially, I've taken the bakery. That's essentially what they're saying. If they held on the money, you think that's a potential grievance for them to not be giving you any of that money back?
Oh, yes, I think so. I think that there's something going on, and I can't say what was said in that meeting if it had anything to do with the money, but I do know that after that, I didn't think I couldn't access any of the funds that I thought we would have joint sort of access to.
Right. Now, I want to follow up on one thing. You mentioned that Easton has had the copy of The Exorcist in her room, which now is in your possession, obviously. Is you wanting her to get out of the house related to any sort of demonic entity that you think she might be harboring?
Well, I have other things if you'd like to see, or I could just tell you.
Let's see. All the evidence that we can have is great.
I found this. It's a spine. That's a candle. I think this is. What do you use this for? Rituals? And then this is the most important. Well, one of the most important things. A demonic creature, a servant of the devil. I found in her room. I believe it's an effigy. I don't know where she got it, but it has evil. It has talons, and it has red eyes, and I think it has something to do with it. The way she's been acting lately, the music she's been listening to, the darkness in her, and I'm scared. And I think that she needs something to show her the light. And sometimes that's just an event like being kicked out of your house that
Defendant,
I can move my
please meet
kids
with
into.
your lawyer in the breakout room. Defendant.
Hi, Easton. How are you?
Well, I could be a lot better if my brother wasn't suing me, but I guess that's what we're doing today, so.
And of course, at this time when you're grieving, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a year, but it's been hard. Me and my mom we were really close. You know, I actually lived in the house with her, unlike Eli, who's going off with whatever woman he can find. Of course, he's engaged now, so I guess I shouldn't say that, but whatever.
Wait, he didn't live in the house?
Well, he lived in the house, but he was always overnight somewhere else, if you get what I mean.
Okay.
We barely saw him.
Okay. In that case, do you know if there's any like proof of this? Because that could hold up in a court of law if there's any proof.
Any proof that he was in other women's houses all the time?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could ask his fiance.
Definitely.
I mean, the last year, yeah, he's been with his fiance a lot, so I guess that would be the main thing. I don't know. Maybe you can show that he has a lot of his stuff over there. I don't know. I don't know how you would prove that.
How long has he been with his fiance?
I mean, honestly, the relationship probably started around the time that mom died.
And how long ago was that? Sorry?
A year ago. It kind of seemed like he was really latching onto a relationship out of grief, you know? Because like I said before, then he was hopping around, so he just kind of went the opposite direction.
It's a hard time. I get it.
Yeah.
I wanted to know one more thing. Let me just write a note down here. So I wanted to know, actually, in the will, have you seen the will?
I have not, because Eli is the executor and therefore the only one that gets to see the will and blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So I firmly believe that it is your legal right to be able to see, to at least hold in your hand and look at your mom's will.
That's what I thought.
Yes, and it is. And so if he has withheld that from you, then that can be punishable. It can be if we choose to take that up on him.
Cool.
Other than that, as for before we got into this whole lawsuit, what were the proposed solutions that you and your brother came to together? Were there any steps before lawsuit?
Well, I guess we really argued over who should get the house. And I thought I should get the house because I'm the one who's really been living in it, and I was the one that was really close with Mom. But he wanted the house because I don't even remember why. Stupid reasons. Probably for his kids. Like he had they were 6 and 8 at the time.
They were his kids?
Yeah.
Are they his kids?
I think from different women. I don't really follow him around that much. Like I said, him and his fiance have only been together a year, but that doesn't mean they didn't hook up before. I don't really know. I try and stay out of their way. But
fair enough.
Yeah. But I finally agreed to 50-50 because my dad actually talked to me and he said since we were going to sell the donut company, he said that he thought that Eli would agree to go 50-50 if that money went to Eli. And I was like, fine, as long as I get to stay in the house. Okay. And so I haven't seen a lick of that money. And now he's trying to force me out of the house. So I basically have no inheritance. It's just...
So currently, where are these assets? Where is this inheritance? The company?
I assume with him. I don't know where else it could be.
Okay.
I swear, he's smiling all the time, but I am convinced that there is a devil inside of him that needs to come out.
Plaintiff lawyer, please meet with your witnesses. Plaintiff lawyer, please meet with your 2 witnesses.
Andrew and Rashida, thank you for joining me here in my office before we get into this court. First, I would like to ask, I'll start with Andrew. Andrew, please address to me how you know Eli.
So Eli and I have been friends for a long time. Long time. We met at the zoo years and years ago, and I really liked the big cats. He liked the birds, and we always had this inside joke about sort of Sylvester and Tweety, how I was kind of like Sylvester, always chasing after Eli and all of the things that he's done, and I kind of get there second.
All right, very nice. So you go way back, you would say, probably what, 10, 15 years or so?
Yeah, two decades at least.
2 decades, very good. And how often you guys interact with each other? Do you have face-to-face time a lot? Do you mostly just interact via text, email, sort of lay out your current relationship?
It used to be face-to-face time a lot. 10, 15 years ago, we would have play dates at each other's house every weekend, switching off houses. But now it's like we're such good friends that, we shoot each other a text, every 6 months, just say, hey, how are you doing? And, we just fall back into that old friendship.
Good. So the presumably one of the houses in question that you would go to is the house that is currently up for debate, right?
Correct.
Correct. So you are a previous frequenter of this house, so you sort of know it inside and out. You couldn't know how it lays down and everything. And being a close friend, that means you're familiar with his sister Easton. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Easton was always kind of, I would say, the odd child out. She would stay in her room a lot of the time, talking to no one in particular, herself, I guess you would say, talking to herself a little bit. As the years went on, she just became more and more of a recluse. I didn't honestly see her all of that much before this event happened, their mom dying.
Right. Okay. Good information to know. Rashida, I'll move on to you now, please. Tell me, how do you know Eli?
Yes. I'm sorry. Excuse my manners. I should have asked you, am I allowed to smoke in your office?
Yeah, go. I do it after I close every night. It's fine.
Yeah. So I know Eli because, well, I'm engaged to him. He's my fiance. And so here's the thing. I knew Eli way back in the day. I actually knew both him and his sister, Easton, okay? Because I used to run a daycare center, okay? And some time has passed where, they've grown up and everything. And then so, things got to the point where him and I were like, talking to each other. And, I just saw he grew to be a great young man. And he was always such a sweet person, sweet child. But there was something about his sister that I just never liked. Sometimes I'll let her come in and notice little things of mine will come up missing. And so when I went to go confront her, she would say, well, no, I didn't do anything. And then all of a sudden what she did was, and then oh my gosh, this really makes me upset. After she found out that, Eli and I were actually, starting to talk and, we kind of took our relationship. Yeah, people do judge us because I tend to be maybe a little bit older than him. She went and told her mother that she caught us. Well, she caught me nursing him. And she got my license revoked and told everyone, including her mother, and her mother told everyone at the bakery, because apparently a lot of rich people and more successful and important people will come in, and they got my license revoked and they got my daycare center turned and shut down. So regardless, I know what my love is with Eli. I respect him. He's a great child, but there's something demonic about her. Who does that? Who goes to the beyond the extreme to try to sabotage someone because you see that we have a relationship that's going to turn into a marriage? I just don't understand it. There's something wrong with her.
Right. Okay. That was a lot, but we can work with that. So can you, without me explicitly asking how old you are, can you sort of...
No, you should never ask a woman how old they are. That is considered rude. Very rude. You don't ask them.
Exactly. That's why I'm not explicitly
But in case if you want to know, I'm 55.
Okay, thank you. So what is that gap? What is that gap between you and Eli? Just to clarify how far apart you guys are.
Maybe 15, maybe 20. Who's counting? I heard the song used to be age ain't nothing but a number, Okay. So wait a minute. Am I being judged here? I mean, what's going on here? What's the difference? Why do you need to know?
It's just for the note-taking purposes, in case anything about this comes up in the actual court itself. We have some sort of standard ground, and I sort of know the entire backstory.
Defendant lawyer, please meet with your
above
witnesses.
18, so
Defendant lawyers, please meet with your witnesses in the breakout room.
Hi, folks. Thank you for coming in and thank you for helping with this case. I want to go one by one, and I'm going to ask you your name, a couple of basic information, where you live and how long you've known, the defendant and what your relationship was. So anyone want to go first? Maybe Maddie, you look like you're nodding. You want to go first?
Sure. Yes.
So Maddie, full name, what is your relationship to Easton and how long maybe have you known her?
Sure. My name is Maddie Lithouse. And I have known Easton since childhood. We used to go to daycare together. And I actually used to work at her mother's donut company.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For a period of time.
Mm-hmm. Is that all you care to mention at the moment? I'll come back to you if you have anything else.
Easton and I have been friends for a very long time, and I feel like I know her better than anybody. I know that she was very close with her mom. We used to be in the donut shop together all the time, and they had a really, really beautiful relationship. Together we formed a book club, me and Easton and her mother, and it was pure. Only pure. Nothing else.
All right, I have a couple follow-up questions, but first I'm going to get some information from our friend James, all right?
Yeah, I actually worked in the donut shop. That was at my first job. Believe it or not, I was a teenager at the time when I started working there, and I got hired. I think I was about 15, 16, and it was a great place to be. I became friends with Easton over time just through her coming in every day and me working, and eventually, yeah, a friendship formed. I didn't join the book club, but I got plenty of really great recommendations on books, and actually, she helped me get into a lot of things like Eastern philosophy, even too. So I think the world of Easton.
That's very sweet. All right. So I want to come back to something you both have mentioned that I hadn't heard before from Easton, this book club. I just want to know a little bit more. What kind of books did we read? How often did we meet? What else did we talk about?
Yeah, it was a very special book club. It was we talked a lot about things that might not be as accepted by others. It was very it was exclusive. It was a very exclusive book club. And I remember just all of these special times that I had with Easton and her mother, and they shared so much wisdom with me about the world and the different facets that could be out there. It was just it was life-changing.
She given me a lot of books on things outside the scope of the norm, like fantasy fiction, a lot of, but also a lot of drama, a lot of really intense story. She just had this wonderful aptitude for learning about other cultures, and was just highly literary, very intelligent. There was nothing that she couldn't tackle. She's just an incredible mind.
Brilliant.
I would not have been exposed to what I know about the world right now if it was not for Easton.
I would agree.
Andrea, please meet with the judge in his chambers. Andrea? Okay, you can bring me on. Thank you so much. Okay, Andrea, I appreciate you being my witness. A lot of people don't know that I went out, sought an independent witness to get the truth. So I know I'm going to be putting you on the stand later today. So is there anything I need to know before I put you on the stand?
No, just, I'm still into the grieving because I was very close to Alice, your Eli and Easton's mom. So I'm still,
When you say close, because I'm going to have to ask you about this, what was your relationship to her?
I just live across the street, and I've been very close to her since she moved, like about 30 years ago. She moved in the neighborhood, and she was very smart, and so even I have to admit, very attractive, and we had like this beautiful friendship, and then Eli were born, and then Easton were born, and I've been close to the whole family too. I just I gave Eli the first advice about dating. Now he got game, but I mean that it came from me. And
well, I know that the mom and dad were divorced, and she got the house and the settlement. I know the dad still lives, but he's on the opposite coast. So did you have an intimate relationship with her? Because I will need to know this before I put you on the
stand. Is that relevant for the case? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it could come up. Somebody could ask you these questions. I need to know.
Can we put this between us? Yes.
I just need to know you did have an intimate relationship. Okay. Did the kids know about that relationship?
No, they don't.
No one
Just,
will. Okay.
you know, I mean, I've been very close to them. I also, you know, I remember I did the first rituals at the donut store with Easton because, you know, I'm into demonology. That's my job. I'm also, you know, an exorcist, and she's so talented. Like I taught her like you know, the roots about demonology. Everything she knows it comes from me. So yeah, I'm really close to that family, and you know, this what happened to her mom is it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How did her mom die?
It was a terrible accident.
What was the accident?
She got an accident with her car while we were waiting for her. We were supposed to have a ritual at the donut store, a very important one, and she never made it.
So she got in a car accident?
Yeah, at least that's what I've been told. Because
and that's what killed her. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I think I have enough to go for when we get into the case with you. So I appreciate that. I'll be bringing you into court. And
can I go to the other room, right?
Yeah, you can go in the break. You can go in your other room right now.
Okay. For me, I'm just crying in the next room.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, before I call everybody back into the courtroom, I would like to say, Alex, our reporter, I'm going to let you report on the case before we go into the courtroom. So, Alex, if you want to come out, and I'll let you report.
Well, we are back. Here we are in Sunnyside, California, again reporting on the infamous Schmitz-Coffin case. And it seems that we do have quite the information regarding Eli and Easton Schmitz-Coffin. You see, the nerdy, executor of the will, Mr. Eli Schmitz-Coffin, seems to be more than what we thought him to be, as a bit of the playboy of Sunnyside, California, especially with some of the older ladies, controversial as it may seem. And while it was a 50-50 agreement, it seems that he's withholding the will from Sister Easton. Reasons? We don't know. What could the will, in fact, say exactly? And Easton, on the other hand, also seems to be more than once thought. Let me just read off a couple names. Benefits of live sacrifice, befriending the other side, witchcraft and bitchcraft, those voices, and you. Everybody, it seems that these are books that their local book club was reading together. And it was more than a book club, but was a place for other side rituals, demonology, and even exorcisms. So with the mothers, on mysterious death, it seems that there could be a bit more with that one. But yeah, with the defendants, their history is shady at this point, with their situation. But Eli, those children whom also come from mysterious circumstances, his two children, perhaps there are more, and there could be more if meets the eye with that. And perhaps he's wanting the house for his multiple children. We go into the courthouse.
Okay, let's bring everybody into the courtroom, please. Everybody into the courtroom. Okay, go ahead and bring me in the courtroom too, thank you. All right, guys, you've had time to talk with your client and your witnesses, and I just want to talk to Eli. Okay, just so I get the case correct. Eli, you're suing your sister because she's refusing to move out of the house, and you think that she is practicing some sort of devil worshipping or demonic behavior?
Yes, that's correct, Judge.
Okay, and you both inherited the house from your mother, who died from a car accident about a year ago.
Yes, also correct.
Okay. All right, let me go to Easton. So, Easton, you've heard the case. You feel that you own half the house. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the deal.
And you feel like your brother's unfairly trying to get you to leave the house?
Yeah, half of the house is mine.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the case we're dealing with right now. So I'm going to let first. I will let the defense lawyer Amelia. You can cross-examine Eli.
Hi, Eli. Mind if I ask you a couple questions? Very routine.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
So, you are the executor of the will, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had any prior instances where you have shown your sister Easton a copy of this will? It is her legal right to see it.
No, I never did let her see the will. I didn't really think she had that much interest in it. I didn't want to bring. She was so close to Mother.
Interest or not, I understand the closeness, but she has a legal right to see it.
Yes, she does.
Anything else? No. If not, I'll move on to my next question.
Yes, please.
Other than that, so when I've spoken to Easton about the proper ownership of this house and how it was allegedly, like you said, in the will, which I also have yet to see, seeing as my client has not seen it either. Allegedly in the will, it is supposed to be stated that the estate is divided 50-50 for each of you, correct?
No, it doesn't specifically say 50-50. That's something we agreed on between me and my sister.
I'm afraid prior conversation and recollection of those conversations is not admissible in a court of law. I would have needed a written agreement. Other than that, what is written in the will about the division of property?
In the will, the division of property is supposed to go to, according to our mother's words, they who most have earned it in this world and the others. And I didn't know what that meant. I just thought that meant we were supposed to figure it out together.
I suppose one could interpret that as the person who might have been closest to her, right? Which I know you and I can both agree that of the two of you, Easton, having spent more time at the house, having worked at the donut shop and spent a lot of time at the donut shop, deserves that closeness factor in her favor in this particular instance, yes?
Yes, you could
and
say
as
that.
an alternative compromise, were any other possible solutions proposed?
No.
No. Because I'm sure if I were to speak to my client, maybe some kind of monetary settlement of inheritance could possibly settle this issue, except nobody seems to know where this money is. Would you know where this money is? As the executor of the will.
No, the money, I believe, is being hidden by my sister.
That's funny because she says she has no idea where it is.
Oh, well, last I ever had access to that cash, it was when her and my father spoke together, and they were both, at a restaurant for several hours talking this over. I didn't see or hear anything from the cash after that.
Which she mentioned to me that she and your father have spoken, but she mentioned that it was with regards to what exactly you were doing as the executor. It appears that neither of them were in the know of your whereabouts and what you were doing with the will.
It's true that they couldn't have known where I was while they were talking. They were together, and I was off. I was off with my wife. I was off with my fiance.
Okay,
your wife?
Your time is up for there now. Okay, let's go to the defense attorney. You can cross-examine the plaintiff attorney can cross-examine the defendant. Easton, you have 2 minutes.
Easton, first of all, I'd like to say it's very nice to meet you, and sincerest apologies to you and, of course, the rest of your family about your mother. I cannot imagine such a tragedy befalling on me. So, Easton, I would just like to ask first, right off the top, just tell me about the house. What's your significance with the house, just in general, overall? Let's hear it.
I mean, it's the house I grew up in. It was my mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that paid for it and bought it with the proceeds from the donut shop, which I helped with a lot. It felt kind of shared in a way, even though I was just a kid. I did what I could as a kid, but
right, sure.
It's all unknown.
Upon the passing of your mother and sort of the dealings with the falling out of the whole scenario, my client detailed to me that no explicit division of property was expressed in the will, and rather you two came up with an agreement. Do you have any recollection of this sort of agreement of splitting the house in any
Yes.
sort of manner?
Yes, I have a recollection of the agreement.
Can you detail that for the court, please, what your recollection of the agreement between you two was?
Well, it was started out as more of an argument than agreement. It was more us both arguing that we each deserved the house. I didn't know exactly how it was phrased in my mother's will, and clearly she meant me, but we can get back to that later.
That's up for interpretation.
But I had a meeting with my father, and he said that if the donut proceedings were to go to Eli, that Eli would be willing to split the house 50-50 with me. And because the house means so much and I really had nowhere else to go, I said yes. So that's how the arrangement was made.
So based on your words and the words from what I just heard from your lawyer, it seems that you and your mother had a much closer connection than Eli and your mother.
Definitely.
Is that correct? Am I assuming that correctly?
Of course.
So now, may I ask, in what world would you and your father be having a discussion in which you both think that the proceeds of said donut shop would fall to him rather than to you?
I don't know. My dad just called me up and said that he was going to act as the arbitrator because he had heard me and Eli were fighting. I had assumed Eli had said something to him, and I was like, okay, fine, because I wasn't really up to talking to Eli at this point, so I agreed to talk to my dad.
Okay, that's your 2 minutes. Thank you. I think that's helping. I'm going to go now to one of the plaintiff witness. Let's start out with Rashida. So Rashida, what is your relationship to Eli?
I'm his fiance.
His fiance, okay. And how long have you been going out?
For a little over a year now, but I've been knowing him since he was a young kid, and we took some time apart and we rekindled and, we kind of fell in love. It makes me feel great.
Okay. And he has 2 kids. Are you the one taking care of these 2 kids?
Well, okay, here's the thing. Those 2 kids are mine from a previous marriage, okay? I never said anything, and he's such a sweetheart. He's allowing me to come in with, my past.
Okay, so why does he claim that they're his kids then?
Well, if we're going to get married, why not?
I see. So someone has brought to the court's attention that he had possibly 2 different mothers with each one of these kids. But you're saying now that these are your kids?
These are my children. These are my children. Yes.
And he's not the official father of these children?
No, he's not.
How far back is your relationship with Eli? When's the first time you met him?
Well, I used to run a daycare center, so I want to say him and his sister was coming in to my center, I want to say around age 7, 8, maybe even 9. And then
7 or 8, okay. And what exactly happened with your center? Because apparently it was shut down under very bad circumstances. So what exactly happened there?
Well, I just felt like from the beginning there was something wrong with the sister. Every person says, children are different. And even though they're brother and sister, there's the good one and there's the bad one. Well, every time she would come over, something bad would happen. Something, my home would come up missing or broken. And when I confronted her about it, she got upset. And so I don't know what happened, but it just seemed like she was always out for me. So anyways, they grow up, I lost contact with them. And over the years, Eli and I started reconnecting, and I see how great he's become and successful in what he's been doing. And, he just made me feel seen and heard. And I like that. I'm not getting any younger, But for some reason, his sister was not too happy about that. I don't know why, but she told this lie about me, saying that she caught me nursing him when I was a child or when he was a child. And it's just like, who says things like that? So she all had it out for us. I just don't know.
He was 9 years old, and you were accused of nursing him.
Yes.
Did you nurse him?
No, I did not. Well, no, I didn't. No, I do not do things like that. No,
Okay.
no, and no. I need a cigarette.
Okay. All right. So you are upset with the sister who made up a story that you were nursing him, but he was 9 years old. So you're actually, I mean, that's a little, you know.
A little what? I don't understand here. It's just I'm doing. They came to me, okay? Their parents came to me. Their mom came to me, wanted to watch their children.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you upset? Are you upset at Easton because she got your facility shut down?
Well, yes, I am. I'm very upset because she ruined my reputation at that donut shop. All these important people in the city, they're thinking that I'm some type of, crazy woman and some type of pedophile.
Okay.
I love kids.
Okay, I think I've got enough from this witness. Okay, let's go to the other plaintiff witness. And that is going to be Andrew. So Andrew, I know that you were friends from him since childhood.
Yes.
Were you aware of him going to this daycare center?
I was. I was not aware that Rashida, his now fiance, worked there, or that she was in charge of the daycare center, but I was aware of it.
When were you aware of them having a relationship where now she's going to start going out with them and they're going to get married?
That about 3 years ago, I received a text from Eli saying, "Hey, I'm going out with this wonderful girl. She's a bit older than me. Just what do you think about the age difference?" And he did let me know the age difference, and I was like, "Hey, age is just a number." So
would you say that
whatever
Rashida's age is closer to his mother?
I would say that. I don't know how old his mother was, but
upon her death, she was 58.
All right. Then yes, they were definitely closer.
Did you ever find
in age
that
than she may be like.
Eli had any feelings towards his mother, like the old Shakespeare Oedipus Rex, or he liked older women? Is he had a history of going out with older women?
He had always hinted to me that he liked older women, that he liked the way that they would be able to dominate him, take care of him, and he was more of a submissive sort of guy sexually.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I've got enough from both of his witnesses now. Let's go to Maddie. Maddie, you're the defendant's witness. Obviously, you're a lifelong friend of Easton.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we met at daycare.
Have you ever met Rashida before?
Yes.
Okay. And what would you say your opinion of her is?
She scares me.
Okay. Did you ever go to her daycare center?
I did. That's where Easton and I met, at the daycare.
Okay, now Easton, according to Rashida, fabricated a story about Eli being breastfed by Rashida. Do you know if that story is true or not?
It's real.
It's a real story, I see. It's a real...
I saw it.
You saw it?
I saw it.
Okay. So... All right. So... Easton and you are part of a book club. Could you tell us a couple of the titles of the books from the club?
Yes. We we loved to read Crime and Punishment and The Grapes of Wrath and Little Women. I think maybe The Exorcist was in there, but it's been so long and there were so many titles. And
Okay. The book club, let me just be clear, wasn't some sort of a devil worship cult?
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay, it wasn't.
no,
Okay.
no.
All right. And when you found out that her mother, Easton's mother, was killed in a car crash, what was your feelings about that car crash?
It was surreal, you know. She always seemed like she would live forever, and when she was gone, it was like the sun just fell out of the sky, and there was a giant
Okay.
hole.
Okay.
Not a good hole, not like a donut hole, just a bad hole.
Okay. All right. All right, let me go to James. So James, you worked at the donut shop?
Oh yeah, yeah, I did.
Okay. And how long did you work there?
Good 12 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say your relationship with the mother was?
Oh, very strong. I mean, very supportive of every decision that she made. I mean, she made one of the most important decisions of my life. You know, she hired me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's your relationship with both the kids, Easton and Eli?
Well, Easton, I got to know pretty well just through coming in each and every day and getting different kinds of books. And I mean, I dropped out of school. So, I mean, I had given up on learning, but she gave me, another chance at learning more about life and an education. I read so many books. The Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, even War and Peace, and Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky, as well as The Exorcist, which I would have to say is one of my favorite.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Maddie. The book club was not a devil worship group cult?
No, of course not. I mean, that was ridiculous. If there was any devil worshiping going on, it was definitely on the side of the plaintiff.
I see.
I mean, you know, how do you think that he has all, you know, he admits all of this stuff into evidence that has to do with demons and eyeballs? And I mean, none of this stuff is actually Easton's. I've known her for years. I mean, if anything, they got to come from him. And I even heard from a couple of other people not too long ago that he had a lot to do with the whole Satan con that went down in Boston by the Massachusetts devil and witch worshiping group.
Okay, that's interesting. What was the response at the donut shop when they found out their mother had been killed in a car crash? What was Eli's emotion? What was Easton's emotion?
I mean, that was a really, you're bringing up one of the darkest days of my life. But Easton was just totally distraught. But Eli, I mean, he's got the interpersonal skills of a sociopath. The guy was just blank, you know, almost as if nothing had even phased him.
Okay, that really helps me out. Thank you, James.
He also dressed like he was a grandfather back then too. I just want to make that clear for the court.
Okay. Let's go to Andrea. This is my witness that I brought in. Andrea lives in the neighborhood across the street from the deceased mother. And Andrea, what would you say the relationship of Easton and Eli has been since the mother has passed away?
That was really weird, Your Honor. I mean, it's always been weird. They are so different. I mean, Eli looks a lot like Jeff, like his dad. I mean, they both they have some kind of, you know, let's say childish behavior. Like they like, you know, strong women. Can I say that? I mean, strong women. And while actually for this reason, if I can confess, like they've been a little bit jealous of me because they happen to question that Easton is, you know, Jeff's biological daughter, because we have so many things in common, and she's so different from the rest of the family. But I mean, okay, let's stay on the topic.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Easton is your biological daughter? Is that what you're telling me?
Did I say that Easton is?
Yeah, because obviously you've known the mother for quite a long time. Easton is 28 years old, which means that you had sex with the mother 29 years ago when she was married?
Oh, no.
Yes or no? You're under oath.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that's going to make some of your witness comments. I have to look at them a little differently now. Why do you have a scarf with skulls on your? What are you into?
It
From
protects
what?
me against demons.
Does it protect you against your daughter, Easton?
No. She protects me. I mean, this she has one. It's the same. Like I gave her one.
Okay.
Like,
Well, who is she protecting you? Is she are they protecting you from Eli?
From Rashida.
From Rashida. Okay. What about Rashida? Do you feel you need to be wearing that?
I believe she possessed by a demon that make her, breast everyone. Like she used to breast Eli. She used to breast Jeff. She tried to breast, Easton and me, but we got, protection.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you mean breastfeed you? You're like a 52-year-old man.
Yeah.
I don't think that's breastfeeding at that point. I think that's sex.
No, she breastfeed. It's a demon. It's the demon. That's why we started the first rituals when Easton was only 9. It was a big shock for her, but I helped her. We actually, our first ritual at the donut shop was for Rashida. That's why she started, hating Easton, and then that there's something weird. I have to say, Your Honor, I'm under oath between Jeff, Rashida, and Eli. I believe like they're fighting a lot over something. Like
when you say Jeff is
Eli's father.
Father.
Eli's and Easton's father.
Okay. All right. That's very interesting. Okay. Well, I hope it didn't shock Easton to find out that you're the biological father when she thought that other guy was her father. I'm going to let the court reporter who's here today talk with first the plaintiff lawyer, then the defense lawyer. Then I'm going to need to have the 2 lawyers meet me. Then I'm going to let the witnesses talk to the reporter, and then I'm going to have everybody come back in to make my final decision. You're going to keep your comments down to 1 minute per person, Alex, because we want to wrap this court case up. So everybody can go back into their respective rooms except for the plaintiff lawyer. And I'm going to be coming back later to talk to you, okay?
Hello, Brian. Here you are representing Eli today. I do have a couple just quick questions, especially in regards to the will. So he is the sole executor of the will. The information has been released, and yet he has not shared any information thus far with his younger sister, Easton. In a court
that's at least that is what that side has said. To my knowledge, he told them the details. Whether he explicitly showed it or not, I couldn't get the straight answer out of him, but he did go into detail with what was in the will and the goings on of the will with the defense side. So the defense side claims that they've never seen it, but who's to say?
And there have been some claims thus far, with the sale of Hoffin nuts, that, we, as the executor of the will, that Eli could be hiding more, could be hiding some assets, could be hiding funds, withholding funds from his sister, funds that would, she has legal right to.
Well, as we found out sort of in some cross-examinations, that might not be entirely true. That's coming from the defense side of things, whereas the defense was making a lot of claims about how they were closer to their mother than my client was. And so the reasoning for my client to have all that money from the shop when the defense has put so much work into it didn't make sense into my head. So again, these claims coming from the defense doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, we need to have the defense lawyer come in. You've got 1 minute with the defense lawyer.
Hello, Amelia, representing Easton on the defense side today. Now, a lot of information has been brought up in court today, especially stemming from, a possible, Easton could have a different father than Eli. So many things have been announced. And a lot of information has been thrown around in regards to demonology, exorcisms, witchcraft, social, issues.
My client is a good kid. That's all.
Well, I mean, you can be a good kid in society, and yet, behind closed doors, you're, sacrificing fried chickens. So
I have no proof to the contrary that she's ever had anything to do with demonology, the occult, the darkness, the macabre. I've seen no proof to the contrary. According to not one but two character witnesses that can vouch for her character and the fact that she's never done anything like this. In fact, the only people who I've seen mention this explicitly are the judge witness and Eli himself. So maybe there is some calling into question that can be done on one of their characters. Secondly, my client's character and their morale is not being called into question in this court of law. Okay. So throwing around this demonology can hurt her reputation more than it can help this case. I would personally like to take a look of who is this cult ritual people that the judge witness keeps speaking about, right? Where are the funds? Where is the will? That's what I want to know.
That is a very interesting question. And on the topic of that, it seems that, communicating with said father, said Eli's father, possibly Easton's as well, Jeff Schmitzhoffen, that there could be some extra funds that in fact Easton is withholding with the father, with having sold the donut shop. Do you have a comment on that?
I have no reason to believe that Easton is withholding any funds. I've yet to see any proof of any such thing.
Okay, your time is up. I need to see the two lawyers in the judge's chamber. So bring me on. Thank you. All right, judges, lawyers, is there anything you want to say before I'm going to bring everybody back in the courtroom?
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Amelia. Great to be here with all of you again. So I want to call into question one thing, Your Honor. If this revelation that we have of Andrea, the neighbor, being the potential biological father of Amelia's client, is there a way for us, A, to verify that, B, what bearing does that have on the case as a whole? That's where I stand.
I'm not sure that will have that much of a bearing on the house issue. It certainly was a curveball that I didn't know before I brought him in. I interviewed him previously, and that never came up. He did say he had a relationship with the mother, but that was in the last couple of years. So I had no idea they went back 29 years. So that's a whole nother thing. So we'll address that at a later point, but I don't think that has relevance to this case. Amelia, any questions or any thoughts?
I listen, I have some connections down at the local police department, and according to our reporter friend Alex from Channel 6, she says that she has reason to believe from her sources that the death of the mother was actually really mysterious. And all I know is that the judge witness, Andrea was his name, has motive, seeing as he had a relationship that didn't work out with the mother. He has means in that he has access to the donut shop where he says he's been performing rituals. And listen, he might even have an alibi. He says that, no, it's been a while since we've had a relationship. I think this man is a sketchy character. And for anyone, especially a sketchy character like himself, to be calling into question my client, Unfathomable. And within a year of the passing of her mother. Unfathomable. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's get everybody back into the courtroom, please. I've listened to all the information that's come my way, and it's beginning to unfold. So here's what I think is going on. First of all, Eli, I watched you throughout the court proceedings, and you didn't seem to have any emotion about your mother passing away. It seems like you still have your relationship with your. Don't show it to me now, Eli. You're faking me. You still have a relationship with your father, and you were closer to your father. And in fact, you were upset at your mother for divorcing your father and her getting the house. And you were also a little upset that he was cut out of the donut shop as well. So this caused a little bit of a strain, I think, between your mother and your biological father. And Easton obviously thought that this was her father. We know that the donut shop proceeds were sold. We did track the money. The money actually is with Jeff, the father. Easton did transfer those funds to her father's account so that her brother couldn't get hold of that money because she was worried about the house. So once you tried to sue her, she decided to move that money in a bank account to her father's bank account to secure that money. Unfortunately, Easton, I hate to tell you this, but Eli was working with his father to get that money from you so that the two of them could have that money. And that was where their relationship's still strong. And he was always upset that Jeff did find out that Andrea was your father, and he didn't want you to have any of that money because he hated the mom, your mother, and he hated the fact that she had an affair while they were married, and that began to come out. So he said he deserves the money since he lost the house, and he's working that out with Eli to get that money from you. Now, as far as the money also, Rashida knew about the money and the proceeds from the donut shop, and she was encouraging Eli to sue you to get you out of the house so she could move in the kids and her into the house and live in a much better environment with Eli. I'm not going to say whether you love him or not, but I know that your motivation, Rashida, and apparently you and Eli worked out some sort of a scheme that you would be able to get the house and get the money from the donut shop by arranging Rashida to have someone hit and run the mother and kill her. So it seems like Rashida was involved with Eli, who wanted to kill the mother because Eli loved the father, and they wanted to get the mother out of the way so that he could get the house and the donut shop money. So Easton is absolved of anything because she unwillingly gave the money to her father to try and secure her future and not get those funds taken away by Eli. But Eli and Rashida and, well, we're going to have to probably bring you into downtown to talk to the police for Rashida, for you working on Eli to set up a murder of his mother and stage it so that you could get the money. We're not even talking about the insurance funds you got from the insurance accident. And we also knew that your mother had a life insurance policy, that Eli and Jeff was still on that policy. They had arranged to get Easton taken off the policy. So not only do you collect insurance money with your father, Eli, who schemed with you with Rashida, who your father had a long time relationship with Rashida on the side as well before you, So Rashida was sleeping with your father while he was married to your mother. And we figured, well, okay, Jeff, so go have a relationship with my son, and we'll get him brought into the whole deal. And that's how they brought you in, Eli. So the three of you worked together to have your mother killed, get the insurance funds, get the house, get Easton out by talking about all this devil worship stuff, when we know that Andrea and you know each other as well, Eli, because once your mother introduced you separately to Andrea, and Andrea kept saying, you know, Rashida's into the devil stuff, and tried to get you to not go out with her, but you didn't listen to him. You didn't listen to Andrea. And you resented the fact that Andrea was sleeping with your mother as well, and you found out about it, so you wanted to have her killed. Okay, this case is now closed. I'm going to allow the reporter to go ahead and talk with the ruling. Go ahead and talk with Eli first, and then you can talk with the defendant next. So this case is closed. Everyone may please return back to their back room, and we'll have the police coming over to pick up Rashida and Eli. Okay, you've got 1 minute to talk with Eli before we take him downtown.
Eli. You know, it does seem that the motives have been made clear, that there was more than meets the eye in the form of murder, scheming, and a bit of Eskimo brethren.
Whatever happens in this case, or when I'm taken in by the police, I know I will be protected, because me and Rashida and my father and Andrea all have the kind of access to things that you can't have as a normal person. The things we've done, the things we have to do to maintain our status. Some people think it's vile, but I know that he will protect me.
Okay, you have 1 minute with Easton.
Wow, Easton, just like a bad family portrait, you were framed. Any immediate comments?
I just feel numb. I just feel like every terrible thing that has happened in my past just got revisited in this courtroom, and I guess I won. I guess I don't.
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel like that.
Staying in the home, or are you just gonna cut all ties, sell it, and move on?
I don't even know. I have to do a lot of thinking. I have some good friends in Maddie and James, so I'd at least like to stay close to them, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Start a new book club. You know, maybe incorporate movies now too.
Alex, we decided we're going to let you interview Rashida one more time, since she was indicted. So go ahead. You have 1 minute with Rashida.
There she is, a sick woman.
You can't prove anything. That's
I would
defamation of
actually ask,
character.
you know, my asthmatic throat cannot handle your smoke. Please put it out, ma'am. You already have me in charge of murder. Don't make it two.
Well, all I have to say is you guys will be hearing from my lawyer, because there's nothing which you can prove. Okay? This is all circumstantial evidence. I know the law here. I know the law, and this is not what you know.
You know,
It's what you can prove.
after having lost your job, you know, and then you know, the past 20 years plus, you know, conspiring to, in fact, kill Miss Fanny Schmidthoffen and, you know, take over the money.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
The motives are clear. The motives are clear. You will rot in prison.
Wow, this has been our courtroom drama. Let's bring in the rest of the cast. And you've seen our long-form courtroom drama. And I'm Kent. Give it up for Brian.
Thanks for being here, y'all.
Andrew.
That was hilarious, guys. Thanks for watching.
Eli, first show.
Thank you all. I hope it was fun.
Easton.
I had a fun time. Hope you guys did too.
Maddie.
Thanks, guys. Drive safe.
Rashida.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Woo!
Alex.
Thanks, guys, as always. Another congrats to Eli, first show. Thanks, guys.
Andrea.
Thank you for watching this very intense case.
Amelia.
If you hurt yourself laughing too hard, you might be entitled to financial compensation.
And James.
Why do I have cravings for donuts?
Let's wave goodbye. We'll be back in 4 weeks. You guys all stick with me. We'll talk afterward. And they're going to be doing a hotel with a couple conventions coming, and it's going to be really exciting. That's our next long form game.